NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
Turns out Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing.
If you had lunch with Meghan Markle, you'd be stunned at how dumb she was. Not because she's black, because she's an actress who was on the show Suits.
Harry starts describing this one date with Meghan as the night, let me quote you here, me and M pulled the pin on a fun grenade. I actually started rooting for Prince Andrew.
They should hope that the kid looks more like Meghan than Harry. No offense, but Harry kind of looks like the guy who played Screech, may he rest in peace.
Gone on Oprah, I didn't know. I had no idea how racist they were. It's the royal family. They're the original racists.
Colin Jost just brutally destroyed Meghan Markle on SNL yet again, and it signals something massive. The entire comedy world has declared open war on these two.
President Trump also announced a new trade deal with the UK that will reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
That trade deal was brutal because it basically called them America's problem that we're trying to dump back on Britain.
Build electric cars, he's going to Mars. Why is he even involving himself with Twitter? It would be like if the Prince of England gave it all up just to marry an actor from Suits.
Comparing Harry to Elon Musk wasting time on Twitter was absolutely devastating. Both are stupid decisions by successful men. But there's something way worse that Stephen Colbert said directly to Harry's face on live television that nearly broke the prince on the spot. We'll get to that moment, but first you need to see how deep this comedy massacre goes.
NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
The joke works so well because it flipped the narrative completely. Instead of a successful actress marrying a prince, it's now a woman trying to support a deadbeat husband who brings nothing to the table. They even mocked them during their wedding time, with Michael Shea delivering one of the most brutal takes on what the marriage actually represented.
Earlier today, Suits actress Meghan Markle married some unemployed dude who still lives with his grandma.
The beauty of that joke was how it stripped away all the royal glamour and fairy tale. __ Shea reduced Harry to what he actually is without his title, just another guy living off his family's money. Even Stephen Colbert joined the pylon by mocking their ridiculous pet names and childish behavior.
Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H.
And he'll say M and you'll say H and your friends say M and it just is a thing.
It's a thing.
And do you both love it?
Yes, and I like nicknames a lot.
What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
The sarcasm was dripping because everyone knows how stupid their whole M and H thing sounds to normal adults who don't need cute nicknames for everything. Jimmy Fallon also got in on the action by highlighting how pointless and confusing Meghan's content really is.
Why does Meghan Markle make her own pretzel bags? They don't know why.
That's interesting. She takes it from one bag and puts it in another bag.
There's another bag.
And that confuses people.
This joke captured her entire approach to life, taking something simple and making it unnecessarily complicated for absolutely no reason. The late-night consensus was clear. These two had become entertainment's biggest punchline. The mockery spread beyond SNL as every major late-night host started piling on with their own brutal takes on the royal disaster. Jimmy Kimmel delivered one of the most cutting observations about their decision to leave Britain for America.
Harry said racism was a big part of their decision to leave, which you know things are bad at Buckingham Palace if they came to America to get away from racism.
The logic made no sense because if you're trying to escape racism, America might be the most racist country ever. Kimmel was basically calling out their __ excuse for leaving, and he wasn't finished destroying them.
They should hope that the kid looks more like Meghan than Harry. No offense, but Harry kind of looks like the guy who played Screech, may he rest in peace.
Comparing Harry to the guy who played Screech was absolutely ruthless because it stripped away any remaining dignity he had left. The visual comparison was brutal and unforgettable, but nothing worse than what Joe Coy said at the Golden Globes.
Turns out Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing. and that's just by Netflix.
This hit hard because it exposed the fundamental problem. They provide no value to society and still get paid millions by Netflix for failed shows that nobody watches. It's the ultimate scam. But Trevor Noah took it to another level by calling out how Meghan basically forced Harry out of his family home like he was some deadbeat boyfriend.
This is what happens when you bring the first black woman into the royal family. She looked at Harry and she's like, nigga, you need to get a job. You a grown-ass man. You can't still be living in your mama's house, Harry.
Noah captured the power dynamic perfectly. Meghan turned a prince into her personal project. However, what Stephen Colbert said directly to Harry's face about being a good man was worse than anything these comedians threw at them. We'll get to that awkward moment in just a bit. The mockery wasn't limited to late-night hosts. Celebrities and stand-up comedians started joining the pylon. Conan O'Brien created an entire comedy bit around their wax figures being removed from Madame Tussauds Museum.
Now, I was curious what they did with Harry and Meghan's wax figures, so I found the museum employee who's temporarily storing them.
The setup was innocent enough, but Conan's comedy genius was about to turn this into something completely unhinged and inappropriate.
Oliver, you have generously offered to keep the wax figures of Harry and Meghan safe.
Yeah, that's correct. And if I may, I would just like to say that I'm definitely not using the wax figures for sex stuff.
The comment was already crossing boundaries, but it perfectly captured how little respect these figures command in entertainment circles.
They're in a loving home, and I treat them better than the museum ever did. They didn't appreciate Meghan's soft hands or Harry's supple lips.
Talking about Meghan's soft hands and Harry's supple lips was absolutely wild and showed that even their wax replicas had become objects of ridicule rather than reverence. Meanwhile, Alexandra Dario couldn't escape Meghan's toxic impact on her personal life, revealing how the Duchess ruins everything she touches through her attention-seeking behavior. Is this true? Meghan Markle has ruined your workout regime.
Is this true? Meghan Markle has ruined your workout regime. Is this true? If so,
yes, she has.
The fact that Meghan's mere presence at a yoga studio became a legitimate concern for regular people shows how her brand has become synonymous with chaos and invasion.
Well, she came into New York last weekend,
Yeah.
and she went to a yoga place called Moto Yoga, which is my yoga place. It's
Right.
where I always go.
Dario was clearly frustrated that her personal workout sanctuary was about to be invaded by Meghan's desperate need for photo opportunities and media attention.
They have places in LA and New York, but now that she went there, everyone's going to want to go there,
Right.
and there's not going to be any room. It's going to be harder to get into.
The complaint was completely legitimate. Meghan shows up once for publicity, and suddenly everyone wants to go there, ruining the peaceful environment for people who were genuine members. Then Ricky Gervais delivered a classic story about Harry's entitled behavior that perfectly captured his lack of basic decency and respect for working people.
Once at a gig, at the back was Harry and William, Madonna and Paul McCartney. Not one of them paid.
The story worked so well because it highlighted how unbelievable it is that someone with billionaire status, like Harry, wouldn't pay a few hundred for entertainment tickets, while everyone else has to pay their way. And John Melanie absolutely demolished Harry's decision-making skills with one of the most brutal, inaccurate assessments we've heard from any comedian.
Prince Harry has entered the chat. You dumb ginger. You leave your title because you don't like your 94-year-old grandma? That's the definition of something you wait out, gangsta.
Calling Harry a dumb ginger for abandoning his royal duties over his elderly grandmother was ruthless because it exposed the complete absurdity and selfishness of the situation. However, Tim Dillon took the roasting to an entirely different level with multiple devastating observations that cut straight to the core of their personalities.
If you came up with the picture of an annoying, insufferable white woman, it would be Meghan Markle, even though she's not white.
Dillon's description was surgically precise because it captured exactly how annoying and insufferable Meghan comes across to most people, regardless of her racial background or royal connections. If you had lunch with Meghan Markle, you'd be stunned at how dumb she was.
If you had lunch with Meghan Markle, you'd be stunned at how dumb she was. Not because she's black, because I wouldn't think she was black if I looked at her, because she's an actress who was on the show Suits.
The Suits reference was particularly brutal because it highlighted how limited her actual talent and experience really were before she managed to bag a prince through strategic manipulation. Furthermore, Tim wasn't finished destroying Harry either, calling out his two biggest failures in questionable life choices with zero mercy. H.
Harry is an idiot. He's an idiot for two reasons. Number one, he signed up to fight in the Afghanistan war. That was a dumb move. You're a prince. What are you doing that shit for?
The Afghanistan war criticism hit hard because many people believe this was just for show. Why would someone with his privilege voluntarily put himself in danger for a PR stunt?
And number two, he still believes in this dumb story that the paparazzi killed his mom. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just...
Questioning the paparazzi narrative about Diana's death was controversial, but showed how Tim wasn't afraid to challenge even Harry's most sacred and untouchable beliefs about his family. Additionally, Chris Rock joined the conversation with his own sharp take on the racism allegations that had dominated headlines and sparked endless debate.
Gone on Oprah, I didn't know. I had no idea how racist they were. It's the royal family. You didn't Google these motherfuckers?
Rock's point about the royal family being the original racist was historically accurate and showed why their shock at encountering racist behavior was incredibly naive and poorly researched.
They're so racist. They wanted to know how brown the baby's gonna be. I'm like,
concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
That's not racist. Because even black people want to know how brown the baby gonna be. Shit.
Even black families have conversations about skin tone, making the royal family's curiosity seem less uniquely offensive. But Brodin delivered perhaps the most comprehensive and damaging takedown after actually watching their Netflix documentary, and his detailed analysis was absolutely devastating.
I watched the Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary. Now, I'll be honest with you, before I watched it, I was not a fan of theirs. But now I've actually heard their side of the story, I f***ing hate them.
Starting as someone willing to give them a fair chance, and ending up hating them even more showed just how spectacularly their own content backfired on their reputation.
They started off and they're making interesting points about racism and misogyny. Then they start calling each other H&M, and I just thought, oh, do f*** off.
The H&M nickname criticism captured perfectly how their cutesy infantile behavior comes across as fake and insufferable to normal adults watching their performance.
Harry starts describing this one date with Meghan as the night, let me quote you here, me and M pulled the pin on a fun grenade. I actually started rooting for Prince Andrew.
The fun grenade quote was so ridiculously pretentious and dramatic that it made Brodkin prefer Prince Andrew, which is saying something absolutely terrible about their Netflix content.
Harry says, how do you explain to someone who just started dating that they have to curtsy to your own grandmother?
How do you explain that you bow to your grandmother and that you will need to curtsy, especially to an American? Like, that's weird.
And I'm thinking, maybe just tell her that your grandmother is the f***ing queen.
The curtsy explanation criticism was completely spot on because Harry's apparent confusion about basic royal protocol made him look disconnected from his own family's most fundamental traditions.
They were complaining that to pay for their own security. They were not happy about that. Yeah, they were very worried about their safety, which I get that aspect of things after 6 episodes. I wanted to attack them.
Finally, the security payment complaint revealed their stunning entitlement about expecting free protection while living as private citizens for profit. The comedy world had reached a consensus. These two were fair game for unlimited mockery. The mockery reached an entirely new level when animated shows started destroying their credibility. South Park delivered the most comprehensive takedown of their victim narrative.
So let me start with you, sir. You've lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Win.
The show brilliantly captured how absurd it sounds when someone with unlimited privilege complains about their hard life while writing books about their suffering for profit. But South Park wasn't finished exposing their contradictions, particularly Harry's hypocritical stance on journalism and media coverage.
You should write a book because your family like stupid and then so are like journalists, so you hate journalists. That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. Right, so you're a journalist.
The writers perfectly highlighted the irony. Harry hates journalists, but then becomes one himself by writing tell-all books about his family's private lives. Then the show tackled their biggest lie of all, the privacy excuse, while simultaneously seeking maximum attention and media coverage.
We just want to be normal people. All this attention is so hard. Isn't it true, sir, that your questionable wife has her own TV show and hangs out with celebrities and does fashion magazines?
This exchange captured the fundamental contradiction perfectly, claiming you want to be normal people while having your own TV shows and doing fashion magazine spreads. Additionally, South Park exposed how ridiculous their privacy claims really are when you examine their actual behavior and social media presence.
What are you suggesting? Well, I just think some people might say that your Instagram-loving wife actually doesn't want her privacy. How dare you, sir? My Instagram-loving wife has always wanted her privacy!
The show nailed the hypocrisy of claiming to want privacy while being constantly active on Instagram and seeking photo opportunities at every turn. Furthermore, South Park mocked their dramatic exit from Canada and their endless search for attention disguised as seeking normally.
To hell with Canada! We are leaving! We'll go find some quiet place where we can be normal people! Come on, wife! We want privacy! We want privacy!
The privacy chanting while literally moving somewhere to get more attention was comedy gold that exposed their transparent manipulation of public sympathy.
Look at this town. There's just something about it. Oh, darling, I think this might be the place. It's so quiet and empty here. If we moved here, then people would think we're really serious about wanting to be normal.
The final scene showed their true motivation, finding a place where people would think they're serious about being normal rather than actually wanting to be normal. Meanwhile, British show Spitting Image joined the international mockery with their own brutal take on their California lifestyle.
In California, we're just a regular couple living close to Oprah and far from the paparazzi. Woo! But not too far.
Living close to Oprah, but claiming distance from paparazzi perfectly captured the contradiction. Their entire California strategy was built on lies about media relationships. Moreover, Spitting Image highlighted how Harry traded one form of control for another. He went from royal restrictions to being controlled by Meghan in an even more restrictive way.
The best thing is, no more following Granny's rules. Don't wear your pants on your head, Harry. Don't bath on the butler, Harry.
The comparison between following Granny's rules and following Meghan's commands showed that Harry simply traded one form of control for another.
If I want to play polo in my living room, who's gonna stop me?
Stop that!
Right away, Megs.
Finally, the polo scene demonstrated the power dynamic perfectly. Harry can't even play in his own living room without Meghan immediately shutting him down and controlling his behavior. The animated world had reached the same conclusion as live-action comedy. These two were completely fair game for unlimited ridicule. But the most devastating moment came when Stephen Colbert unknowingly delivered a reality check that cut straight to Harry's soul. When Harry mentioned his favorite movie was Gladiator, Colbert immediately quoted Marcus Aurelius from the film.
The emperor in that, Marcus Aurelius, the favorite quote in the world. He said, "Let us have an end to this debate about what makes a good man and be one." Isn't that nice?
There you go.
You can use that.
Good knowledge.
You can use that. Thank you.
What we've witnessed is Harry and Meghan's complete transformation into entertainment's biggest punchline. Every major comedian and animated series has reached the same conclusion. These two have become fair game for unlimited mockery because of their contradictions and entitled behavior. When you can't get basic respect from cartoon characters, your reputation is beyond repair. And the question isn't whether they can recover.